Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. As I'm sure most of you probably know, lately we've been going through the various weapon categories that we've got in the game and ranking the weapons from worst to best. Now, we are primarily focusing on categories that have changed a lot recently, which brings us to today, where we've got the marksman rifles and also the snipers. And with the recent additions of the RYTEC AMR and also some pretty significant changes with the 1.23 update, these categories have changed quite a bit. So today we're breaking down each weapon in the categories, going over the best setups for them, and also ranking them from worst to best. So if you enjoy the video at any point, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here, I am always covering the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, setups, basically anything Call of Duty related, you're gonna find it right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. Now, starting off with the marksman rifles, not gonna lie, this is a weapon category that honestly I don't spend a ton of time messing around with, mainly because I like to play a bit more aggressive and rush friendly, you could say, and some of these weapons just aren't built for that playstyle. But when I do start to use these weapons more, they're honestly pretty fun. But that said, starting out at number 5 here in dead last, we've got the CROSSBOW, and I think this is a pretty obvious choice just because this is a very niche weapon. You know, it excels only in very, very specific situations, so it just is not capable of being a top tier weapon game in and game out. However, if you do just like to mess around and experiment with different setups, then the CROSSBOW can be a ton of fun. And my go-to setup here consists of the 28 strand cable for better bolt velocity, the thunder barrel for better range, the speed grip for, speed, the thermite bolts because if you stick someone with these, it'll actually cause damage for a few seconds after you hit them, which can lead to knocks or even elims when you're reloading or, backing out of the engagement. Then finally, I've got the speed track stock for better mobility as well. Then coming in at number 4 for the marksman rifles, I've got the Mark II carbine or the MK2 carbine. And honestly, in multiplayer, this gun is really good because the health is obviously a lot lower there. But against armor, the Mark II carbine can be kind of a hit marker machine unless you are consistently hitting headshots. So unfortunately, it suffers a bit because of that. But the MK2 is really fun to just play really aggressive with because this is a very agile rifle. So you can definitely use this in close and medium range fights and it's gonna work just fine. So here I am running the monolithic suppressor. It feels weird not saying that for the first setup like the crossbow, but don't worry, everything is back to normal now. We've got the monolithic suppressor, the 24-inch barrel for the best range, the VOK 3x optic. However, that is more of a preference attachment there. I just like the look of this one compared to some of the other optics. Then I've also got the stippled grip tape and also the focus perk to help reduce flinch when I'm getting shot. Now, getting into the number 3 spot, here I've got the EBR, which I'm not gonna lie, I remember this being a lot better than it was when I used it for this video. Maybe that's because I've been using the FAL a lot recently, and that's just essentially a better version of the EBR, but I don't know, it just didn't feel as good as I remember it being. But I do still think it is a decent rifle because of its ability to 2-shot headshots, and I guess overall, its damage in general is pretty good, all things considered. You know, if you have good aim, this is a very rewarding weapon. If you've got potato aim, it might be a little bit rough, but here I am using the classic monolithic suppressor, the 22-inch barrel for better range and control, the VOK 3x optic yet again, the Raider chassis elite stock for better mobility, and finally the focus perk once more for the same reason as before. Now at number 2, I've got the SKS, which just like the FAL is basically a better version of the EBR. I will say it's still not as good as the FAL, but when it comes to the marksman rifle specifically, I definitely think this is the best semi-auto one that we have. You can spam it more than the EBR, its damage is still really good, and all around, the SKS is sort of a beast in its own way. Now here I am rocking the monolithic suppressor, again, the M59/66 barrel, the tac laser for better mobility and stability, the VOK 3x optic, and the focus perk yet again. Then, of course, by process of elimination, that means the number 1 weapon here is the CAR 98K, which I would say might actually be my new favorite weapon in the entire game right now, just because it is so fun to use and also so satisfying to use as well. No, it is not the strongest sniper in the world. Compared to the actual snipers like the AX50 and the HDR, those will usually outclass it. However, the CAR will still get a one-shot headshot, and it's also super agile. So it is perfect for aggressive sniping, and, when you match it with like an MP7 or even a lighter AR, it can be really, really effective. So here, I'm rocking the monolithic suppressor, big surprise, the 27.6-inch barrel, the variable zoom scope for better visibility at longer ranges, the stippled grip tape, the iconic Stippy Grippy, and also the focus perk to round things out. Now, moving into the actual snipers, by far the worst weapon here, and I mean by a mile, we've got the Dragunov. If you guys watch the streams often, you know I hate this thing. I try to avoid it at pretty much all costs, just because it is a super awkward weapon to use. So to me, this is easily number 4 in the sniper category. That said, if for whatever reason you feel like you want to actually use this thing and give it a go, I would recommend using the monolithic suppressor, the 660mm barrel, the variable zoom scope, once again more so a preference-based choice. Then I've got the Stalker Scout stock for better mobility, and finally the focus perk once more, since you definitely need to stay on target here as much as you possibly can. Then at the number 3 spot, I've got the RYTEC AMR, the newest sniper rifle that we've got here in the game. And yes, the whole one-shot headshot issue is still a thing, at least at the time of recording this video. The RYTEC is supposed to be a one-shot to the head with the normal ammo. However, that does still need to be fixed. Infinity Ward is still working on that, I guess. But even when it is fixed, I would say it's still probably going to remain in the number 3 spot. Now, when it comes to the attachments here, pretty much no matter what you do, this thing is going to be bulky and it's going to be slow. That's just sort of the nature of the weapon itself. But to make it the best it can absolutely be, I am rocking the RYTEC suppressor, the 7-straight barrel, the tac laser, the variable zoom scope, and finally the explosive rounds for the time being. However, once that damage does end up getting fixed, I would probably trade the explosive rounds for maybe a speed increasing stock. Now, at the number 2 spot, I've got the AX50. And honestly, the AX50 is a super fun sniper because it is a bit more aggressive and agile than the HDR. But you also have to consider that it's got a lot worse bullet velocity, meaning you have to essentially work more to get the kills because you do have to correct for the larger bullet drop-off. So it's harder to use in that sense, but still incredibly strong and effective once you learn how to lead your shots correctly. And something that actually sets it apart from the HDR is the fact that it can be used more aggressively, both in the sense that you can actually fire off more shots faster, but also it's just got a better overall movement speed too. So if you're okay with the bullet drop being worse, then this isn't a bad sniper whatsoever. So here we've got the monolithic suppressor once more, the 32-inch barrel for better range and control, the tac laser for the same reasons as before, the variable zoom scope, once again just personal preference, and finally the assassin stock for better mobility. Now, of course, by process of elimination once again, that means, to me at least, the number 1 sniper in the game is the HDR. And when it comes down to it, physically, statistically, this is the best sniper for the vast majority of engagements. And here my go-to attachments consist of the monolithic suppressor, the pro barrel, the tac laser, the variable zoom scope, and the Stalker Scout stock, which is pretty much the same setup I have on the AX50, so both perform relatively similar, just with a difference in speed and bullet velocity. Now, usually when I'm sniping, my other weapon is either a more lightweight rifle, like say the Grau, even the Bruin isn't awful for pairing either, or even better, the MP7, since its range and mobility pairs great with any sniper we've got. Maybe with the exception of the Dragunov, just because, well, yeah, that's a steaming pile of garbage, but outside of that, an AR or an SMG works great with these setups. Then I normally run my standard perks and equipment here too, that being EOD, Overkill, and Amped at first. Then I do grab EOD, Ghost, and Amped from a second loadout. Amped actually plays a huge part in these sniper setups to me because of that faster swap. It just allows me to play more aggressive overall. And then, as always, I've got the C4 and the heartbeat sensor for my equipment. So, with all of that being said, that is effectively how I would rank all the snipers and marksman rifles here in Warzone, alongside the best setups for each of them. And that is going to wrap things up for today. By all means, let me know down in the comments below, what is your go-to sniper setup here in Warzone? Personally, my favorite class as of lately is the Kar98K paired with the MP7. It is a super fast, super fun class, and I've been having a blast with it, but I'd love to hear some of your setups down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, setups, and pretty much everything in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found down below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.